They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs. More than 1,000 bottles all.
So it looks like 50 Cent's highly anticipated documentary about Diddy might be dropping sooner than we thought, because he just clowned the hell out of Diddy after he was arrested on the charges of racketeering and transportation of VOWS from third world countries. He's currently facing life imprisonment for the wreck charges, as well as a minimum life of imprisonment, with a minimum of 15 years for the TRA charges and a minimum of 10 years for transporting them into the U.S. And guess who's just having a ball watching all this play out? 50 Cent. Not only did he clown Diddy for this, but now he's threatening to release even more evidence against Diddy that's potentially going to make this case 100 times worse than it already is. FY has actually been working very closely with Diddy's victims for months now and recording their testimonies for his upcoming documentary about Diddy. He's now saying he might release all that evidence before the documentary even comes out so he can help the Fed. Okay, so for those of y'all who are somehow not up to date with all the recent developments of Diddy's case, he got arrested on Monday while he was just chilling in a hotel in New York. According to his indictment, which was just released a few hours after his arrest, he was caught forcing his trafficking victims, who he flew in from third world countries, into the U.S. with nowhere to run for help, to engage in Group 6 act with associates of his that he referred to as freak-offs, sometimes for days at a time, while he recorded these videos of these encounters and masturbated to them. The encounters were so physically exhausting for him and his victims, whom he would force to ingest, that they all typically received 4 fluids to recover. They also found that Diddy was not orchestrating all this by himself. In fact, it was an entire enterprise of high-profile people, some of which are celebrities and others who are in political positions. They all came together to mistreat these women and boys into things they had no business doing. These people were flown into the U.S. thinking that they were going to be working minimum wage jobs to provide for their families back home. But instead, they are forced into engaging in these freak-offs and misused until they pass out. Combs' alleged criminal conspiracy, the indictment says, relied on employees' resources and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. This indictment also went on to reveal that Diddy would direct the act at the center of the freak-offs, while he also distributed a variety of controlled substances to his victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. And do y'all remember that raid that was done on his properties just a few months ago, which ended in his sons Justin Christian being arrested? Well, it turns out that that raid was actually where they found all the freak-off tapes, as well as the thousands of bottles of lubricants that Diddy and his partners used against those defenseless boys and girls that they flew into the country. According to reports, they found more than bottles of baby oil and lubricant, and 3 AR-15 rifles with a drum-style magazine. So the police even said they were surprised by the attention to detail that Diddy and his people put into all this. And mind you, these are the type of police officers that investigate cases like this, so the fact that they were even shocked is crazy to think about. They said, not only would Diddy, supervisors, security, hotel staff, and assistants stock up on and lubricant, they would also procure baby oil, extra linen, specialized lighting, as well as book hotel rooms and travel arrangements.
The indictment alleges that Combs exploited women and other people for years, and in a variety of ways. As alleged, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sexual performances with male commercial workers, some of whom he transported or caused to be transported over state lines. Combs allegedly planned and controlled the performances, which he called freak-offs, and he often electronically recorded them. The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers and often involved a variety of narcotics such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse so that they would participate in the freak-offs, and that Combs hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims, at times by their hair. On one occasion in March of 2016, that conduct was captured on video and later reported in the media. Specifically, Combs kicked, dragged, and threw a vase at a victim in a Los Angeles hotel when the victim was attempting to flee. As alleged, these assaults often resulted in injuries to the victims, which took days or weeks to heal. In addition to the violence, the indictment alleges that Combs threatened and coerced victims to get them to participate in the freak-offs. He used the embarrassing and sensitive recordings he made of the freak-offs as collateral against the victims. And the indictment alleges that he maintained control over the victims in several ways, including by giving and threatening to take away financial support or housing, by promising them career opportunities, by monitoring their whereabouts, and even by dictating their physical appearance. Because of all of this, the indictment alleges that the victims did not believe they could refuse Combs without risking their security or facing more.
But like I said before, 50 Cent is having the time of his life, seeing Diddy get exposed like this, and he's planning to fuel it up even more by releasing his documentary about Diddy. In fact, right after all this came out, 50 clowned Diddy by referencing the 1,000 bottles of lubricant and baby oil that they found stashed up in Diddy's houses. He posted this photo of him with Drew Barrymore and said in the caption, "Here, I am keeping good company with Drew Barrymore, and I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube in the houses now. If y'all have been keeping up with Diddy, then y'all know he's been on Diddy's neck even before the Cassie lawsuit." The reason why he made it his personal business to contribute in the downfall of Diddy is because he was actually one of the rappers that did. He tried to core into this freak-off world, according to MYY did. He tried to get him to bend over by offering him to take him on an all-expense-paid shopping spree.
Then Puff was like, yeah, like first he was amping him to get style. Then he was like, so when we gonna get the chance to, to kick it, like we could just hang out. We gotta kick it.
This is
Puff.
Okay.
He telling me we gotta kick it and shit. He was like, why don't we like go shopping or some shit? I mean, like I pay for it. And I was like, what the fuck this just say?
I asked 50 about that. And he said you did the same thing to him. You asked him to take him shopping.
Yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy.
Yo, why are you and Fif just...
Hey, yo.
Why y'all not...
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fif. He loves me.
Anyway, after Cassie came out with her lawsuit, FY decided to step up his pettiness by clowning Diddy every chance he got, and even investing his own money into making an Enter an Ire documentary about Diddy and his alleged partner in crime, Jay-Z, at the time that Cassie first slapped Diddy with her lawsuit. FY was one of the first people who wasted no time in supporting her. He put up a post dragging Diddy for filth. After he settled Cassie's lawsuit, within 24 hours, he said he paid that money real quick, should have done that before the sharks saw the in the water. And here they come in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Every woman he put his hands on. FY followed it up by announcing he was going to do a documentary on Diddy and bring out the truth about everything he had done and all the voiceless victims whose lives and bodies he's violated. He reposted an article about him developing a documentary on Diddy and captioned it, "I thought Diddy was a billionaire music mogul. If he's smart, he will file for bankruptcy." Now, anyone with real money knows why I'm saying this. I'm the best producer for the job, guys. Here come the receipt. And as if this wasn't messy enough, 50 later announced that the documentary wasn't only going to be about Diddy, and that Diddy's BFF Jay-Z was also getting exposed in it too. He made a post announcing this shortly after the news broke of Diddy's home being raided by the Fed.